Whatchu Watchin.
What you watching is what we tell you what we're watching each and every week. We want to hear from you, the fans. Tell us what you're watching. First up is Giggler. Tell us about the NHL Playoffs. How are you enjoying it? Who are you rooting for? What should we expect?
Oh, man. Playoff hockey is the greatest thing in the whole world.
Wow.
There was
Just quit.
5 or 6.
Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this superhero show?
Yeah.
Mostly hockey.
There's been 5 or 6 games so far. Playoffs started Friday. All of them but one have went to overtime, and every single game's been one goal game.
Okay.
So exciting.
Who's your team?
Penguins.
Penguins.
With the Blues in a close second.
Okay.
Penguins lost yesterday to the Islanders. Blues play tonight. They're going to take care of
Late.
business against the number 1 seed, the Avs. I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
Actually, I really am, but it would be a pretty big upset if the Blues took them down, but they can do it.
Are the Penguins still in it?
Yeah.
So that's
it's
them
best
at the top?
it's best of 7 series, so they're down 0-1. They can still pull it off. I'm not worried, but you can just tell by watching the games how much is at stake. They're so fun. Either of you guys watch at all?
I haven't.
Just Blues games.
I
guess?
haven't been watching.
games.
I mean, I love Blues games, and
They don't drop the puck till 9 o'clock
Yeah.
our time tonight.
That'll be like 9:30 for real though, which really sucks.
That is super late. I mean, hockey games go long anyway.
It'll be midnight before it's over.
Yeah.
Do the Blues
on a
have
Monday.
Do the St. Louis Blues have any chance of winning?
They have a
this thing?
chance, but a lot of people aren't picking them.
Yeah, I think the Avalanche were the President's Trophy winner, which it goes to the best team of the whole league during the season.
Yeah.
So it's pretty big.
Do you? Here's a question,
hurdle, but-
Andy. All the Canadian teams are together.
Mm-hmm.
When they make it to this next round, are they going to be able to play the United States teams, or are they going to?
Right now, they literally don't know.
It's
Like-
still that's up in the air.
So
still?
all the Canadian teams were literally in their own division this year.
Is this a first time thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, because of COVID.
because of COVID,
Oh.
and like they have much more strict regulations in Canada. Like the Canadian teams have only played each other. There's like 6 of them, I think.
Yeah.
So like there's only like 2 that didn't make the playoffs, the bottom 2, and then they have only played each other. So like Connor McDavid for the Oilers has like 2 points a game because he's playing against the same
He's
crappy
playing
teams.
against the Senators.
Yeah,
like
he's playing
Ottawa
with-
Senators. And
He's playing against I mean, he's the best player that we've probably ever seen play, but still.
better than Sidney Crosby.
I think he will be in the long run, but
Hmm.
whether he wins more
Better than
titles and stuff,
Wayne
we'll see.
Gretzky.
No, I don't think anyone else will be there. But
Okay. All right.
that's a lot to be debated on, like goalies and stuff like that then versus now. Like if you go back, this is just my opinion. If you go back and look at goalies when Gretzky was playing, they're wearing like pads that are like barely bigger than their legs.
Hmm.
But now that you see the goalies and they're like, ugh,
Like
just
the most.
can cover up the whole net. with-
Yeah. Like if I was a goalie, that'd be my strategy. Was like, what's the biggest?
I always thought about that. Like, why not have a sumo wrestler goalie?
Yeah.
Like, just plop him in there.
I don't know, but
All right.
I'm excited.
But you're enjoying the games, high energy. I've heard and seen a lot, like on the news, that the guys playing are they're really dedicated. This was a very different type of season. Feels like old school hockey. You know, even not having people in the stands, as said, is making a really big impact on how the players are playing and that they keep showing up. And I mean, a hockey when it's high energy, fast paced, you amp it up even more. These guys are probably just going crazy. A lot of fights.
There's not too much fighting, I don't think, but it gets rough.
Yeah.
It gets very rough.
You talk about one of the sports that's just like, yeah, we let people fight in the middle.
Yeah, and that's what it's so brutal.
Get a
It's
5-minute
insane.
penalty.
You just put them together, you wait, and then if they go down, it's over.
Yeah, then you just get a 5-minute break in the box.
If you did that in any other sport, you'd be suspended for like 2 weeks.
Or if you just did it on the street.
Mhm.
It's just so crazy that they're just beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it too. Can you like bet on who wins those fights, like on FanDuel and stuff? Is that one of the
No.
many things you can bet on?
No,
I don't
because
think
it's not
so.
predetermined.
That's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Because that'd be a whole. I mean,
But I mean, like
that'd be
now
that'd be
with
the way to go. Like live fight right now. Who wins?
well, I mean, Bally Sports now is Fox Sports Midwest, and if Missouri ever gets it, Illinois has it. They're doing live like betting lines at the bottom. I mean, there's a way that they could potentially
Please
do
do.
it.
because I know with
But-
like we were looking at that with the UFC fight on Saturday. It's like these apps you can bet on literally anything.
But with that, who like a hockey fight, how do you tell who wins? Because a lot of times when it goes to the
Yeah,
ground, they
that's
kind
true.
of separate.
That's true.
and
You're
stuff,
right.
So
All right,
I
all
know.
right. Well, Andy, keep us posted. We're glad you're enjoying it. NHL hockey. It's been. I'll be honest, man. I haven't been watching as much. I wasn't diehard before. I definitely jumped on when the Blues were making their run and when they obviously did win and become champs. Talk about one of the best experiences really of my whole life, not just watching the games with friends in the city, the big parade afterwards, and then boom, all of it shut down.
It was amazing.
Yeah, that was some pretty good times. All right, we also have, you said you've been watching the OG XMen, the animated series. I assume you've been watching on Disney Plus. I'll go ahead and give it up.
You are correct.
I mean, just look at this poster.
It's so awesome. It's
like, these are the X-Men.
20 minutes an episode, just straight up, just geeking out to the same thing I did when I was a kid. Like, I played all these video games that were so fun. The theme song, top 2 theme song, and all of everything.
How many times do you actually let it play, though?
Every episode.
Yeah, like you let it go every time? So it's just every time, just... Number
2 is mostly superheroes. The only thing that even compares. Gets me hyped and jacked.
It is
a quick one, though.
Yeah, but 20 minutes, I feel like whenever it hits again, I'm always like, oh, God, that's really intense.
You look like Professor X down there with your head. Like,
So, but are you enjoying it again, like as an adult, revisiting the series?
For sure. I get confused at times because, like, the reason I'm watching it is kind of to learn a lot about, like, what to expect from X-Men, maybe going down the line, since they might enter the MCU, see some old stuff, kind of learn a little bit. But like, there are some episodes where I'm like, what the hell is this villain?
Yeah,
like it's super weird. But I when there's like Magneto-centric episodes and stuff like that of things that I do know, it's awesome. But yeah, I'm kind of coupling this with those two books that I bought, the encyclopedia and the history of the MCU.
So you already bought them.
I'm about to
That's
be a
right.
big brain.
You sent the thing.
I forgot to bring them today.
So the history was, make sure I got the title right. The History of the Marvel Universe by Mark Waid.
Yes.
We talked about it from that TikTok.
It's
the Omnibus Collector, which I connected with him, by the way. We just had a little chat back and forth. But you got that book, and then what else did you get?
The Marvel Encyclopedia.
The Marvel
it's
Encyclopedia.
Literally like 3 inches thick. It's massive.
Oh man, were you pretty pumped to get that delivery?
I was so excited. The encyclopedia is just so overwhelming. But my plan is to read through this history book once. It's really cool because I'm learning a lot of like crazy things, like just the origin of vibranium, things like that.
This is so cool.
Like,
God.
It's so cool how it's put together, graphically, and then just like chronologically. And like it's just like a storytelling. Like, it's basically from Galactus telling Reed Richards' son a story of the whole universe, because they're starting a new
remembering
universe, right? Yeah. So
and how far are you into it?
About halfway. There's like 6 sections, and I'm about halfway through section 3.
And you definitely recommend it.
It's not like a lot of reading, but it's more so I'm just like staring at the page. Like, you want to take in all of it, because it's like, it's literally, I say this like every time I turn the page, like, this is just beautiful.
I mean, you paid for it. Maybe I can just borrow it.
Oh, for sure. I'm going to, once I finish it, I'm going to let you guys borrow it. And probably the encyclopedia I will probably keep here. But once I get
in the library, we need a library, I guess.
Just flipping through, you just hear pages.
Once I get through the history of the MCU,
you gonna do the DC?
No. Well, maybe if they have a similar book,
they do.
Count me in.
You DC Comics Encyclopedia, all new edition, the definitive guide.
Hell yes, to count me in. But I want to kind of use them together, like go through the history pages, and like once there's something or someone I don't know a lot about, look up that person or place or thing in the encyclopedia, and just kind of
because you'll have that moment. You'll have you always have that moment where you're like, I don't quite know who that is.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Or I quite don't know where this is. Now all of a sudden you have an alphabetical encyclopedia to look stuff up.
It has a lot, because there's Celestials, there's Eternals, all this stuff that they're referencing in the early days. And
so we had to go off on this tangent because, I mean, you just basically recommended these books to everybody. So Marvel Encyclopedia, and also The History of the Marvel Universe by Mark Waid.
Yes.
So on our list.
Everyone should buy them. I'm not kidding.
And it all started with X-Men. So this is going well, kind of watching this while you're reading that. You're kind of just ingrained right now in Marvel stuff.
Yeah. And also I found I was like, I can't wait. I thought to myself, I can't wait to see like when the famous like Wolverine memes are, like when he's just laying in that bed looking at the picture.
Yeah.
Boom. 5th episode already in there.
Just already there immediately. Yeah. You said that's what you said the picture of. You're like, hey,
found the meme.
Season 1, episode 5.
Nice, dude.
Do you hate Cyclops as much as I did as a young child?
You know,
Did you hate this Cyclops or did you hate the Cyclops from the Bryan Singer films?
I hate him.
You hate this one.
'Cause
The
he's
yellow
mean.
and the gold.
He's mean to Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
He's not great so far, but I think he better turn around because I don't remember hating him as a kid.
I like Logan in this show because this Wolverine is really the one that's just like gruffy and walking around big arms and like very comparable to Beast. Even I always thought they were like this, like the same, but Beast was blue. I always thought of that as a kid, but
I love that suit too.
This is just great
We'll see it.
nostalgia. Recommend for anyone that watched it or did or didn't watch it.
What about Jubilee? She never made the movies, did she? Really?
She did.
Did she make the Jubilee? Made the
She
movies?
was in like Days of Future Past or something like that.
Yeah. You're right.
Like very briefly. I
I like that movie too. I'm excited to watch all those again. Actually,
It was in one of those. It might have been First Class. I can't
Not
remember.
Dark Phoenix though.
well, I think that we should just go ahead and just do all the X-Men and all the X-Men Origins, and we do them all in order. And we do watch all of even the Gene.
Add it
what's
to
it
the
called?
plate.
The Dark Phoenix.
I
yeah.
couldn't finish
Can't
it.
remember the name because I hated it so much.
I didn't finish it. I stopped.
It was really bad. It was like really, really bad. But anyway, Andy, this is going well. Keep us posted if you keep watching X-Men, the animated series. You can find that on Disney Plus. PC Mike, you are up, shifting gears. I have no idea what this is, so tell us all about the Dark Side of the Ring.
Man, I'm wrestling heavy lately. Dark Side of the Ring is on Vice. It is on season 3, and it tells stories about wrestling that are pretty dark. There's murder, there's drugs, there's assassination attempts, there's cover-ups, there's screw jobs, there's all types of things that you hear in wrestling. And Vice does a really great job of basically having 1 or 2 hour documentaries of these things. This one, the picture you have up here is Brian Pillman, who was a loose cannon and did some things that no one's ever done in wrestling before. And unfortunately, he died. And it's kind of his story was the first big episode this year. There's stories of Dino Bravo, who they think was assassinated by the mob up in Canada. There's the Montreal Screwjob, which is Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, which is really famous. There is Dick the Bruiser, who was killed in, I think it's Dick the Bruiser.
Dick the Bruiser.
Is it Dick the Bruiser?
I hope that's
I hope. I mean, Dick the Bruiser is one of the coolest nicknames I've ever heard.
Dick the Bruiser is a different guy. It's somebody else. But Dick the Bruiser
Okay.
is a wrestler. He was my dad's favorite. That's why I said it. Let me look it up.
And
But
so you said you're watching this on Vice. How do you watch Vice?
I have Vice.
It's just that's another streaming service.
No, it's a
Channel.
cable television show.
It's just a cable. This is a cable channel.
They have a lot of like cutting edge stuff. A lot of
Yeah,
weed shows.
And they do
Oh,
Always
weird stuff
Sunny's
like
always
that.
on there.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. The Vice channel.
767 on Charter.
Bruiser Brody. Bruiser Brody, not Dick the Bruiser. Bruiser Brody. He died. He was stabbed in a wrestling ring or like in the locker room, and everyone kind of covered it up, and no one was convicted.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So you said this is a series or like a documentary?
It's a series. So they have 3 seasons.
Whoa.
I've seen a few. It's good. They're very well put together.
So you're familiar with
Like
this too?
the Macho Man one with Miss Elizabeth.
Miss Elizabeth.
A lot of what they talked about in the A&E
Mm.
documentary, but kind of just spun a little bit
Jimmy
differently.
Snuka. And
Okay.
the death of Nancy Argentino. The final days of Owen Hart.
Wow.
That's a sad one too.
So this is one that you
Very
this
sad.
is one that you recommend for wrestling fans, or is this something that even non-wrestling fans would enjoy? Who's this for?
I think non-wrestling fans would like it, but the product right now, like Andy said, is not great. But they keep pumping out these documentaries and all these other things that get me still like involved in wrestling.
Yeah.
The A&E biographies are awesome. I didn't get to watch Shawn Michaels yet, but I recorded it. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
These are amazing.
Mm.
The Von Erich family, if you've never heard of the last of the Von Erichs, my dad watches these. My dad loves these. And he's not even a wrestling fan, but he'll call me and be like, did you see that one? Or did you watch the A&E biography of Stone Cold Steve Austin? Even if you're just a casual fan and you know what it is, I would recommend watching it, especially because some of these Dark Side of the Ring stories, they're not well known.
Wow.
And they're like little mini documentaries of some crazy things that happened. Like the Von Erich family, I think like 4 out of the 5 brothers have died, like by either suicide or some kind of crazy things, and just like a cursed family, but they were wrestling gods in Texas. There's just some really cool things. The Road Warriors, they have a Road Warriors one that, you know,
Yeah, know them.
just their kind of lives and times.
Yeah, it sounds almost like it almost sounds like wrestling combined with like true crime,
Yeah.
combined with like even like some of the like something like from like Succession, like where you got like
Yeah.
the corporate kind of background, things happen behind the scenes, but it's true stories, and it's called Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah. And
I
it's-
also looked up. You said it's on Vice, but I started pulling in like from Google just this screenshot. I might start throwing these like on every title.
that'd be awesome. Yeah, because it says Hulu, and I
I
haven't checked
know.
it. on Hulu,
It says like, oh, you were wondering where it watches. Google says Hulu for premium, Discovery Plus.
I like that.
It says it's on Fubo TV, Filio, Sling. It looks like it's on Sling, and then the rest of them you got to pay. But
No.
it looks like it's maybe
I mean,
around.
the first couple, I didn't have Vice. I would watch them on YouTube. I mean, they're on YouTube. You can find them.
All right, good deal. Dark Side of the Ring. You heard it here. Wrestling fans or not, it sounds like it might be something to get into. You got me intrigued talking about it. See, you got excited, and the way you even put it in perspective. The other shows you brought up, you're like, yeah, they're great. This is amazing. I think I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, there's some. If you need ones that like, which ones would you watch? I'll do top 3 really quickly.
Go ahead.
The Killing of Bruiser Brody is insane. The Last of the Von Erichs is a heartbreaking story, but I think it's something that you need to watch. And then I would watch either The Last Days of Owen Hart or The Assassination of Dino Bravo.
I really appreciate that because those will be the 3 that I probably watch. Because
And-
it's like, pick out the top ones.
I mean, and then if you really want to get it, I mean, there's a Chris Benoit part 1 and 2.
All right. Dark Side of the Ring. You heard it here. Vice. Might be hearing more about it in the future. Couple for me. Got Whatchu Watchin. Just doing. These would be super quick. I did start Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix. Have you guys started it?
Nope.
No?
I just see
It's
it.
very high on the list. But
Okay,
tell me more.
I
Should
am
I watch
one-
it?
So I'm 1 episode. Actually, I'm 2 episodes in. Just started the 3rd episode, but halfway through. Might have to have you look up how many there are. They're on the first season though of this show. This is from a graphic novel, and basically it's the story of like a group of superheroes that's been around for like 100 years, and they actually have they have kids now. So there's this legacy of new superheroes that are born. There are 8 episodes in season 1. Thank you, PC Mike. And it's called Jupiter's Legacy, even though I'm still confused about maybe where Jupiter falls into place, because there's a bunch of names in here, and I don't think Jupiter is like one of them.
Nice.
This is what I'm going to say. The first episode grabbed me. Grabbed Carrie, too. Watched the trailer, watched episode 1. Pilot ended, and I was like, I looked at her. I said, keep going. And she goes, oh, yeah. And then episode 2, Carrie fell asleep about 40 minutes in. And I
happens.
started dozing off, though. But I'm watching because I don't really fall asleep during stuff. Like, I'll watch stuff to my detriment. And it is good. And I'm going to continue. I'll watch the whole season because they got me so much with that first episode. But I'm going to be honest, man, it started falling away. It also started feeling a little bit how I felt watching Lock and Key. I liked Lock and Key on Netflix. But, there was probably like a solid 33% of that show that I was like, I don't need any of this.
Yeah.
So much exposition, really just stuff I don't care about. Netflix has had a lot of things that have made me feel this way. I hope it pays off. I don't know what will happen. I will continue watching and report back.
I appreciate that. I've been looking for a valid review to see someone that I
Well,
know has similar tastes.
That will be my advice then, especially for you two, our listeners. If you haven't seen it, maybe just hold off like 1 more week. Because
Yeah, let us know, because the ratings I'm seeing right now, and I
Just
know ratings aren't everything.
go ahead and tell us.
38% on Rotten Tomatoes. 6.9 nice on IMDb.
Not a great legacy there.
But, I take it all with a grain of salt. There are
Yeah.
movies that have 50%
Sure.
that I like,
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, Jupiter's Legacy. Let's keep you posted on that. Listener, if you've been watching this, you checked it out. Like I said, we're keeping it spoiler-free at the moment, but feel free to write us in. Let us know what you think. But I did actually have at least one Whatchu Watchin, something that I saw beginning to end. Definitely want to throw out a rating. Really enjoyed this movie. I believe it's 1990?
Later than that.
Later than that. Help me out, PC Mike, because I'm watching a lot of stuff in the 90s
I'm
lately.
gonna guess
so.
like 2000. No, 99.
It is the whole 9 yards with Bruce Willis, Matthew Perry, and a bunch of other folks. I'll get it out of the way. Had a good time. Carrie and I threw it on. I had never seen it. So it was my first time seeing it. She's seen it for years. I can tell you, just coming into it, beginning to end, it ended. I was like, that was a good movie. Very funny. Made me have nostalgia for the type of movie this is. Just, you can't recreate like this 90s vibe of what a 90s like rom-com mystery movie felt like. And this was just one of those that you didn't have to think too hard about. I'll definitely revisit it, years from now, and I'll give it a 3.0.
Yeah, it was 2000s.
Oh,
2000.
really?
Yeah.
Way off. 2000.
2000.
Oh, so I was just 10 years off. I knew it was a round number. Just 10 years off.
The only reason I got that is because Matthew Perry's in it.
I should have known. Like they were very,
yeah.
they were very reliant on pagers
In
Like-
2000.
in this movie.
Really?
Oh man, there had beepers, and it was like everything was about like, oh, I'm getting beeped. I gotta go call. I was like, oh,
There's a sequel, The Whole 10 Yards.
what?
I forgot about that.
Same cast?
Bruce Willis, Matthew Perry.
All right, I'll put that on the maybe list.
There you-
Well, I guess I'll say yes because I liked this one.
Yeah.
Came out in 2004.
Well, shoot. Okay. The sequel, we'll put it on here, and you'll hear it on What You Watchin'. Thanks to Plane Zero for the image here, and you can watch that on Netflix. That was one of those latest arrivals.
Can you give me like a 10-second
Yeah, I guess I
breakdown of
should.
what this movie's even about?
I
Because I,
just-
totally forgot.
I'm glad you asked because I'm talking as if, in my mind, everyone's seen this.
I've seen it, but I don't remember a single
couldn't
thing
tell
about
you.
it.
All right, here's the premise with no spoilers. Just imagine the synopsis. You got Matthew Perry. He's a dentist. They live in Montreal. They live in Canada. And his wife is Canadian. She's like horrible. She doesn't like him. She's only staying with him because he actually has like a pretty good life insurance policy on his life. And she's just like waiting it out. Well,
How old is he?
he's only like 30.
Yeah, he's like
in
our
the
age.
movie. Yeah. And that's the joke. She always wants money. You know, that's all she cares about. She'll never work. She doesn't want to do that. She
Is
just
it
wants
the
money.
blonde chick or Amanda Peet?
So actually his wife isn't even on this poster right here.
Oh.
So the blonde chick is Bruce Willis's wife, and then so Bruce Willis plays a hitman, and he moves in next door to Matthew Perry.
Gotcha.
So that's the whole kind of premise. It's like what happens here, and when you got people that are money hungry, live next to a hitman. You know, this guy's like famous. He's in the papers. They know who he is, and Matthew Perry like meets him immediately, and they have a conversation, and the movie just takes off from there.
I want you to guess. Okay, not this. This one actually did well, made a lot of money at the box office.
How'd it do?
I think it made $100 million on like a $25 million budget.
25 million is what I thought I saw. Yeah,
Guess what the Rotten Tomatoes ranking for The Whole 10 Yards is
for the sequel.
for the sequel of this?
So I'm gonna guess. You said Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes.
12.
I can't tell if he's gonna say good or bad, so I'll say 72%. 4?
4%.
Oh no! Oh, that's really bad.
That's really bad.
And
it lost money too.
I just said it doesn't affect the way I feel, and I'm literally like, oh, boo, you suck. That movie's gonna be
it
terrible.
lost like $15 million overall too because I think it was so bad.
Well, now I feel like we should all watch it and then come in here and report back. So yeah, that's the premise. Do you think you'll go see it, Andy?
I'd watch it again. Oh, if it's on Netflix,
It's on Netflix. It just got there.
most likely.
I don't need to persuade you to. It was definitely like one of those where we were like, oh,
Okay.
why not? All right, guys, let's take a break. When we come back, it's all about the MCU, of course, doing mostly superheroes. Only 2 left in the MCU rewatch, and it's all about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Stick around. We'll be right back.